Welcome to Math with Mrs. Cox. We are on Chapter 5, Lesson 1, page 307. We are going to be rounding decimals. Here we begin. Number 1. Round each place the decimal place indicated. Hundredths. So this is tenths. That is hundredths. So let's do like Rob on Math Antics. Let's circle the target. Underline what's going to change it. Is 6 going to make the 7 round up or stay at a 7? Yep, you're right. Good job. Number 2, tenths. Tens, hundredths. So this one is our target. That one's going to determine what happens. It is 5 or above, so the 3 will be rounded up to 4.4. Number 3, the ones. This is the ones place. That 8 is going to determine what happens to that 1. It is above 5, so it is going to round to a 2. Number 4, we are circling the ones category. The 7 is going to determine what happens there. So 7 is above 5, so it's going to round up that 0 to a lonely little 1. Next, we're going to be working on 5. Number 5, hundredths. We have tenths, hundredths. Hundredths is our target, and the 9 is going to determine what happens to it. So it's going to round that up to a 5. So you're going to do 1 and 5 hundredths. Number 6, we are rounding the tenths category. Tens, hundredths. Tenths is right there. That's going to determine what happens to that 9. It is below 5, so we're going to keep it at 17.9. All right, join me on the next page. What is the area of Florida rounded to the nearest tenth? Florida. Here it is, that great big number, but the nearest tenth is just right there. So that 9 is the target, or that 9 is going to determine what the target number of 5 is going to do. So it's going to round it up to the nearest number. So we're going to go 6, 5, 7, 5, 4, and that 9 is going to make that 5 be a 6.6. Put our decimal there, 65,754 and 6 tenths. What is the area of South Carolina rounded to the nearest tenth? Okay, South Carolina. This is a tenth right here, and that's hundredths. So that's our target, and that's going to determine what happens to it. So that 0 is not going to make it change much. So it's going to be 32,000 and 32,020 and 2 tenths. Number 3, what is the area of Georgia rounded to the nearest square mile? Well, here's Georgia. Now this is tricky because they don't tell you a place value. The nearest square mile, that usually refers to a whole number. So if you look at Georgia, this one is going to be our target because that's the nearest square mile or the nearest whole number. That 7 is going to bump it up. So back out here. So Georgia, we're going to have 59,420, and then that 7 is going to change this square mile to a 5. So 59,425 is going to be the nearest square mile for Georgia. And I need to put that on there. In fact, I need to label all of these square miles. There you go. Hopefully there's no other mistakes. Ooh, this one's a fun one. The African bush elephant weighs between 4.4 tons and 7.7 tons. What are the least and the greatest weights of 3 elephants rounded to the nearest ton? So we need to think of the smallest possible weight for 3 elephants and the biggest possible weight for 3 elephants. But we got to round them first. So let's look at this number. So our target number is going to be that whole number 4, and that baby 4 is going to determine what happens to it. Baby 4 right there in the tenths. So the smallest an elephant could be is 4 tons. And right here, this is our target, and that 7 is going to determine what happens to it. It's going to bump it up to an 8. So the largest the elephants could be is 8 tons, right? So we need to know how many 3 elephants at the smallest weight and 3 elephants at the biggest weight. So 3 elephants at the smallest weight, which is 4 tons, would be 12 tons. That's the smallest amount all added together. And then 3 elephants at the largest weight, which is 8, would be 24 tons. That is the largest amount, the weight of the largest elephants all combined together could be. That's a lot of elephant. Okay, number 11. The price of a gallon of milk rounded to the nearest dollar is $4. Between what two amounts could the price be? Now you got to think of our roller coaster. It has to pass that 5 mark to be able to go and round up, or it has to be below the 5 mark to round down. So with our our milk prices, the smallest amount that would still equal $4 would be $3.50, because this is our target number, and this one determines what the target does to go to 4. Now the smallest that it could be to still round would be $4.49, because this would be our target. No, excuse me, this is our target, and this one would determine it for it to round to $4. But 1 more cent, it would round to 5. So between these two prices is what the estimate's going to be for 11. Number 12, Holly bought blank CDs and spent $34.57. What is the amount rounded to the nearest whole dollar? So $34.50. They want us to do the nearest whole dollar. That's our target number. That number is going to determine what happens to it. And it's above 5, so it's going to be rounded up to a 35. Do you see that there? All right, there you go. Rip it out and turn it in.